Good morning, everybody. I am Sid Loyalka, a freshman at Bellevue College.
And I am Kevin Hilly, and I am also a freshman.
We are looking forward to impress and inspire you. Will be talking about our journeys of overcoming our disabilities and what it could possibly take for you to do it as well. Overcoming autism is not super difficult or impossible unless you really want to do it. There are 4 factors in which if you show high improvement, you may not have much of a disability ability anymore.
The 4 factors that overcome autism are self-advocacy, executive functioning, social interaction, and self-regulation. I'll talk about my strengths, which are self-advocacy and social interaction, and my weakness as executive functioning. I have no experience in self-regulation, and nor does Sid. Sid's strengths are executive functioning, social interaction, and self-advocacy, whereas his weaknesses are self-regulation and social interaction.
I have had a lot of experience of executive functioning and self-advocacy over the past 2 years at my private high school. Working on executive functioning means having to tackle 5 skills that are prioritizing, being open-minded, organized, having a time management, and avoiding distractions. Out of the 5 skills, 3 of them have become my perfect strengths, and 2 I am in the process of making my strengths soon. My 3 top skills are prioritizing, being organized, and being open-minded, whereas the 2 skills which I'm working to turn into my perfect strengths are having a time management and avoiding distraction through a very similar process from the 3 first skills. Pretty soon they will also become my perfect strengths. From the beginning of my junior year till the end of my senior year, I worked every day, including the night, through setting up a timetable every day and trying my best to do all the important things that I was supposed to be doing along with my favorite hobbies. There were plenty of days I would screw up, labeling everything on my routine as equally important and not knowing which to do from first to last. When that happened, I attempted to begin solving the problem by asking help from my parents. They gave me strategies to apply, such as doing all of the listed 6 to 7 things in order of importance and not doing anything that isn't included in the agenda. I tried that strategy out for 3 weeks and it worked out. I wanted to become perfect at it. I realized that if I mastered on how to do this task well, I will be able to learn how to perfectly prioritize and be organized. I worked hard for at least 8 to 10 months throughout the week to perfect these 2 skills. As 8 months passed by, I realized I was able to immediately do those skills immediately, and which led to turning self-advocacy as a pure strength of mine. Since I was able to make the right decisions and get all my work done on time without creating any confusion out of being organized, learning how to prioritize, I started to feel confidence and have faith in myself. Since I finally started having faith in myself, I would easily be able to speak out for a mistake or decision I ever made. These are my overall current strengths and have now become a permanent part of myself. I now want to give Kevin a chance to talk about his strengths. I will then continue to talk about my barriers and how I can implement some goals to turn them into my strengths.
My strengths are self-advocacy and social interaction. When I was in elementary school, I never knew how to ask for help. In turn, I got low grades, which made me feel very bad about myself. From this situation, I started wondering how I can develop the school my entire school. I asked for advice from my new teachers on how to apply this new skill, so I tried it for the next 2 years. Once I did, I saw that it worked out. So when I finally entered high school, I slowly started asking for a lot of help from each of my teachers and parents on my homework assignments. I had trouble. Once I started doing that, I started getting better grades, which made me feel a lot better about myself. As for social interaction, that's been there since elementary school. Since 3rd grade to 6th grade, I had trouble socializing with any of my peers. I could not pick up on any social cues from anybody, which gave me a really tough time making friends, which made me feel bad about myself. After I passed elementary school and began middle school, I started to work on understanding social cues as much as possible and interacting with peers based on their interests. I had to work on this skill for 2 years to make it a strength of mine, and as time passed, it ultimately did. After all, these are my major strengths, and I know Now I want to give Sid a chance to talk about his barriers and what goals he will implement to overcome them.
My current barriers are self-regulation and social interaction. Self-regulation is my weakness since I have difficulty monitoring a few weird behaviors of mine when I am outside home. A few severe weird behaviors I exhibit outside home are walking around within the school campus when I'm idle and stretching in the classroom setting when I have to hear a boring lecture. I have been having these problems for 8 years. I have been working really hard for the last 2 years to find a solution to this problem since I started to realize how weird it makes me look in public. I have started looking at them as bad habits, which I thought was time to replace with good habits. After completing my senior year of high school, I finally discovered a good way to replace the habit of stretching in class during a boring classroom lecture by squeezing a small fuzzball while having my arms rolled out flat on my desk or quickly flattening out my arms for 10 seconds or 5-6 times and then putting them back on my desk. I saw that this helped since it helped to drain out all of my energy, which meant there was no more left for me to stretch. That meant the strategy was clicking. I'm going to see to it that I apply this strategy in every classroom I go to in college and that I replace the habit. Now, as for walking around within the campus, I find that to be equally odd. I have been observing it for the last 2 months at college and will continue to do it for another 3 to 4 months so I can discover what to do to get rid of the habit. Once 4 months pass by, I will see to it that I apply these new skills consistently so I can get rid of these habits and so that I don't become idle at all. Once I just discover that, I will apply that for 4 to 5 months so that it becomes a permanent good habit. Now, as for social interaction, I find that to be the easiest weakness I can overcome within a short span of time. To overcome that skill, I am going to perfect my speech communication skills, such as talking clearly in any situation, and highly improve on being able to have a conversation with any peer I end up chatting with. I am going to highly improve on having a conversation with any peer by learning how to be open and prepared towards any topic of conversation, then keep it in a flow. Once I gain that skill, I'll see to it that I apply that habit for 6 months so that it becomes a permanent good habit. Through replacing these weaknesses with good habits, this is how I will implement my goals to turn them into my strengths. Now I'm going to give Kevin a chance to talk about his barriers and how he can implement goals to overcome them. After that, we'll wrap up our speech and head off.
My current barriers are executive functioning and self-regulation. Executive functioning is my weakness since I have trouble organizing and avoiding distractions. Because I'm not good at these two skills, I end up having a difficult time prioritizing. This has been my problem since the beginning of elementary school up until now. Some of my distractions are playing too much video games and social media. Sometimes I end up spending too much time on them to such an extent that I end up missing out on school assignments. Recently, I've finally realized how equally important it is to do all the things on my own in order of importance. In order to do that, I will practice using an agenda planner to organize what I will do throughout the day in order for at least 6 months so it becomes a good habit of mine. If I end up making this skill a new strength, I will not just learn how to avoid distractions, but I also learn how to prioritize and be organized. I'll see to it that I do this. Now, if all of you don't mind, it's about time for us to get going. I'm going to let Sid wrap up our seat so that we can peacefully head out.
We hope you all have learned something from our speeches. We strongly believe that self-regulation, self-advocacy, executive functioning, and social interaction are the 4 major areas of autism. If any of you can work to your fullest and maximum potential and make each of these 4 areas of your strengths, then you most likely won't be having a disability anymore, or it won't be having any impact on your life in whichever situation you are. It's now time for us to get going. Signing off and hope to see you soon.